I'm here with Krista in our studio in Sparks and Brian in our studio in Carson City. Thanks for being with us, guys.
Thanks, Steve.
All right, so we intentionally didn't get each other's opinions on this and what each of us think. So it's going to be interesting. I definitely have some thoughts on this. But because you see some people that really seem like they're in shape. You know, they're out running 5Ks and doing all this crazy stuff, and they're really, really overweight. So are they fit and fat? Are they healthy? Maybe that's a better way to put it. Are they healthy? They're doing all this cardio, they're lifting weights, but they got a lot of body fat on them. They're definitely fat. So how do these two go together? How about you first, Krista?
Oh, I don't know if I want to weigh in on this one quite yet. I got lots of opinions on this one because I was fat. I was morbidly obese. I'm 5'6". I was 275 pounds when I started my journey into the health and wellness industry and trying to kind of take back my life. And I didn't have any of the markers of being unhealthy, right? That we go and we get our blood work done. I didn't have cholesterol issues, didn't have blood pressure issues, didn't have sugar issues. I was a morbidly obese, fat, healthy person, according to the paperwork.
Don't forget to put
Yes.
young.
Yeah, absolutely.
You guys all got to know that Krista is significantly younger than Brian.
I'm not that much younger, you guys. My goodness.
So I interrupted your story.
No, you're good. No, this was probably from my 20s to, I'm 40 now. So I kind of went through this process in the last few years. So I was over 35 kind of going through that process. And I was the person at the gym trying to lift the weights, trying to do the cardio, doing all of the things. And it was a struggle because of the fact that I was morbidly obese and I had a hard time wrapping my head around that because at the other side of it, I'm like, but I'm healthy. But was I really?
Yeah. Well, Brian's 70, so that's quite a bit older.
You're looking great for 70.
I feel great for 70.
Yeah, the older we say we are, the better we look.
There we go.
Yeah. There ain't helping this. Nothing can help this.
Krista has a great story, about losing a lot of weight, and now Krista is our fitness director in Sparks. We're really happy to have her there, and it's inspiring, and of course I love those stories. So, Brian, your turn.
Hey, I'm kind of on the same sheet of music as Chris. Chris, a nice job in your transition in life because it does motivate all of us to do better. Look, can you be fit and overweight? I'm overweight. Can I? I have zero health concerns. I get my bloods done regularly. I've got my heart scored out. My bone density's all scored out. Hang on one second. We got some fans looking in at us here in our studio over here. So with that said, I think we can be physically capable, but are we truly heart healthy? And when we're on the larger side, like me, I know that I need to lean out simply because the heart isn't necessarily designed to pump for a frame that's really quite a bit larger than what it was intended to be. So you have to weigh that all into perspective. The BMI scales, if you look at the BMI, it's very possible and we've said this before, if I'm The Rock, I probably would score out morbidly obese on a BMI. But his body fat percentage is probably 10%, right, if that. And so is he healthy, even though he's on the scoring of a BMI system or something like that, or the old traditional height and weight scales? Is he considered overweight? Well, look, we got to be smart about that. So you with all of this stuff, you got to look at your body fat percentages, your lean muscle masses, your waist circumference, your neck circumference, all your measurements, your BMI. You got to take all that into consideration. And I think what this should teach us all is that we always have to strive to be better in our health, better in our push forward with our hearts, trying to make a better part of who we are tomorrow so that we don't sit back and go, well, I can rationalize that my eating habits are okay, when in all reality, if I'm not watching what I'm doing, I'm going to put on 20 pounds right now. So I think it all kind of has to be balanced out. I'm not so sure that being quote unquote overweight is the way to look at it, more as, do we want to look at our body fat percentage and see where our body truly is? And at the same time, can you be skinny and unhealthy? So I think you have to take all those markers like Krista was talking about and put that into play and then start to realize for yourself. Biggest thing when we talk about these things as we go through all this is we got to make sure we're not comparing ourselves to others, and we focus on who we are to define where we want with our health needs and goals.
Yeah, here. Okay, so here's my thoughts on this. Interesting. Um, and I'll give some different examples. First, you said, how about can someone be really thin and unhealthy? Yes. If you're 55, 60, and you've been smoking for 40 years and you're skinny, you're not healthy. And I'll give another example of someone who looks lean but is really circling the drain. Now, if you're young, say 25, and you have a lot of body fat, you're on the wrong track for sure. You might feel good, your blood work might be good, but you're going downhill quickly if you have a lot of body fat. And it needs to improve because it's going to catch up to you by the time you're in your late 40s. You know, if you, like where you were, Krista, you can't keep going that way. You know, it's going to catch up to, and maybe would have caught up to you by now if you didn't do something about it. But I think a lot of these people who are carrying a lot of subcutaneous body fat
Right.
under the skin, they feel good, their hearts are strong, and it hasn't caught up to them yet. But here's where what I see, people that think they're healthy, and I see this mostly in older men in the gym that are maybe my age or maybe a little older, and we've all seen these men. They've got really lean legs, lean arms. They don't have any subcutaneous body fat. You know, their legs are lean, their arms are lean, but then they've got this belly that's like a basketball under their shirt. So when you tap on a basketball that's under somebody's shirt, it's going to be pretty hard, right? That is not subcutaneous fat. That is visceral fat. It's internal. And when you have that, you might feel good and everything, but you're getting close to circling the drain because that visceral fat, that fat inside there is, you know, the beginning of potentially, you know, diabetes, heart disease, everything that's bad because it's in and around your organs and your body doesn't like that. So I think someone who's younger, who has a lot of body fat, maybe they have 50 pounds of fat on them, but it's not inside. Those people are not as unhealthy as the person that's got the basketball under their shirt that you can pound on like a drum. That's it's way worse than people think. And your blood work might be coming out all right, probably not if you have that much visceral fat. So those are my thoughts on it. What else do you guys got?
Well, you know, with that too, I think it's important. Everybody needs to go get that checked. There's scanners, like at the clinic I go to for age management that I had gone to. I've switched now. They actually scanned that out, so you actually knew what your different fats were. Now, I don't know how accurate it is, but it gives you a number and it's something that you can measure so that you can truly see whether or not you're carrying a lot of bad fat in your body. People don't necessarily all know that you can go and get these things looked at. So I do think that's where we have to know where our markers are so that we can assess it so we can try to get better. I don't think necessarily losing weight
Hey, Brian,
is always the answer.
Brian, I don't know if you knew this, but we're getting one. It's
I heard word.
it's
I
already
heard
been
word.
ordered. Now, Krista's going to be jealous because we're putting the first one in Carson,
I'm jealous.
and then
I'm
that's because
jealous.
that's where, yeah, it's coming, and I think it's going to be really popular.
Is it big enough for me to fit in? Can I get my belly in it to get scanned?
We're gonna remove one of the walls.
Okay, good.
So that
Okay.
you
So
can
I'll be
do
all
it.
right. That's
Yeah.
all I need to know.
Yeah. So, but it actually scans you. So you're going to stand on the platform and it's going to spin and it's going to scan your body and it will tell you where the fat is. And, if you've got, say, 6 pounds of visceral fat, that's a lot. That's too much,
Mm-hmm.
and people, they take fatty liver way too lightly. Non-alcoholic fatty liver, that's very common. And people doctors, in my opinion, take that way too lightly. That's a serious issue. And the rest of the problems are coming if you don't get that fixed. And it's pretty easy to reverse that with your diet and exercise very quickly. But the scanners are great, and we will be getting them into our clubs, and we're excited about that.
I don't know. When you look at that stuff, kind of back into what Krista was saying, do you think, Krista, that we can trick ourselves if we're exercising and working hard and all our markers are coming back good, but we're really overweight? Could we trick ourselves into thinking we're healthier than we need to be?
I think we can, because I think we need to flip the script as far as the conversation of losing weight versus putting on muscle mass. Because
Oh,
at
interesting.
275 pounds, I'm going to the gym, I'm doing the things. And like you just said, yeah, I'm healthy, right? Because I go to the gym every day. I check in on Instagram, I post my photo, I'm at the gym. So I'm healthy, right? But like you were talking about, Brian, having those markers as far as what's that body fat percentage? What type of fat percentages do I have? And what is my muscle mass? That's the big one, right?
Right.
That's our longevity right there. That's how we age and stay healthy through our aging process. So yes, losing the weight is important. We all know that, because like you're talking about, we're holding on to that weight in our organs. There is damage that is happening, even though it doesn't show up maybe on our blood work right now. It is still happening. Our body is still fighting this fight. So, flipping that script of how much muscle am I putting on might be the way to have that conversation in our head, where we're not going, oh, well, I went to the gym today. I did the things, I checked it off the box, but was I actually moving myself in the direction that's going to improve my health?
Right.
You know what, Krista? I think you just nailed it. You just nailed it. The muscle is the most important. If the first thing you're going to do is start lifting weights, and if you're just going to pick one thing, do that. Because then you're going to start putting lean tissue on. Even if you're older, 60, 70, or older, you can still put muscle on. And when you do that, you're improving everything. You're speeding up your metabolism. You're making everything better. And you can move better. You're more flexible. Everything gets better, and it's going to improve everything. So that's a really great point that you just made, that don't just look at the scale. And I think most people know that. You can't just read the scale. But you want to know, because you do not want to be losing muscle mass. That's
Yeah.
Right.
bad. You're losing weight too fast. You're doing something wrong if you're losing muscle mass.
And I've done that. I actually did that, probably about 6 months ago. I was like, oh, I'm going to lean out. I'm going to lean out. And I dropped down another 10, 15 pounds in the scale. I'm like, ooh, I'm leaning out. I'm losing that weight. And I actually did a scan, and I had compromised quite a bit of my muscle mass. And back to what you were saying, Brian, I was skinny, but not healthy, because I had been losing muscle mass and not that fat loss.
Makes it such a
It
balancing
does.
act. So you really, as an individual, and listen, everybody, when we talk, that's what we're here for as coaches, to help you navigate through all this information to define what you need for yourself, because there's so many different things that play into our overall health, and it's not just your body weight. And I think those percentages of lean muscle are really important. I'm finding now that with people educating themselves, we're getting more and more clients when they're coming in. They're not so worried about losing weight. They're concerned with whether or not they're developing their strength and their muscle, especially as we get older. And I think it's crazy important for us who are over 50.
Yeah, got to get healthy. So, Krista is in Sparks Fitness for 10. And if they want to follow you on social media, how do they do that, Krista?
Instagram is my main platform, and my username is It's Coach Krista. So super easy.
All right, or if you're in the Sparks area, go by and say hi to her. Check out the gym. Brian, I think you're too old to be on social media, right?
I'm not on social media, Steve. You know darn well my social media applies to what you and I do. So everybody just come down to Carson City Gym or shoot me an email at our facility or put something in the comments. If you got a question for me, Steve will let me know. We will definitely get back to you.
Yeah, put it in there. And yeah, that's great. All right, so thanks for being with us, both of you, and we will see you next time.
All right. Bye, guys. Thank you.
Take care, everyone.